When you think about the pioneers of rock and roll, names like Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, or Jimi Hendrix often come to mind. But what if I told you that one man, often hidden behind his keyboard and far from the limelight, played a key role in shaping the sound of modern music? That man is Garth Hudson, a true unsung hero of rock history. As a founding member of the band, Hudson not only revolutionized the role of keyboards and organs in rock music, but also brought a level of sophistication and complexity that most bands at the time simply couldn't match. But here's the thing. He wasn't the kind of musician who sought fame or the spotlight. Instead, Hudson let his music speak for him. Today, we're going to take an in-depth look at Garth Hudson's incredible journey, his unparalleled contributions to music, and why his story deserves to be remembered by generations to come. Garth Hudson was born on August 2, 1937, in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Raised in a family that deeply appreciated music, Hudson was introduced to a variety of instruments at an early age. His mother was a church organist, and his father played the violin. It was in this environment that Hudson's love for music blossomed. By the time he was a teenager, Hudson had already begun mastering multiple instruments. Unlike many young musicians who focused on a single instrument, Hudson was drawn to the organ, accordion, and saxophone. His love for music wasn't just a hobby, it was a calling. Hudson's dedication to learning didn't stop with playing instruments. He was one of the few rock musicians of his time who had formal training in music theory. This gave him an edge that set him apart from his peers. For Hudson, music wasn't just about entertainment. It was an art form, a science, and a way to express the complexities of life. In the early 1960s, Hudson joined Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks, a group that would eventually evolve into the band. Initially hesitant about joining a rock group, he reportedly insisted on being paid an additional salary to be their music consultant. Hudson eventually became the backbone of their sound. When the band officially formed, it didn't take long for them to gain attention. Their collaborations with Bob Dylan in the mid-60s were groundbreaking. Dylan's decision to go electric was controversial, but it was musicians like Garth Hudson who helped make that transition unforgettable. Hudson's organ work added a richness to Dylan's music that made it both edgy and timeless. Songs like I Shall Be Released and Like a Rolling Stone were taken to new heights because of Hudson's contributions. He wasn't just playing the organ. He was painting a picture, creating a mood, and telling a story with his music. But it wasn't until the band released their debut album, Music from Big Pink, in 1968, that Hudson's genius truly shone. Tracks like The Weight and Chest Fever showcased his mastery of the organ, combining classical influences with the raw energy of rock and roll. His unique ability to blend different styles, from jazz to classical to blues, created a sound that was completely original. Unlike many keyboardists of his time, Hudson didn't see the organ or the keyboard as just a background instrument. To him, it was as vital as the guitar or the vocals. His ability to create intricate, layered arrangements turned ordinary songs into masterpieces. For example, the opening of Chest Fever is often cited as one of the most iconic organ solos in rock history. The haunting, church-like tones of Hudson's organ created an atmosphere that perfectly captured the song's emotion. It was this ability to evoke feeling through sound that made Hudson stand out. Hudson was also a pioneer in using technology to enhance his music. He was one of the first rock musicians to experiment with synthesizers and other electronic instruments, long before they became mainstream. This willingness to innovate and experiment helped pave the way for future generations of musicians. Despite his immense talent, Garth Hudson never sought fame. While other members of the band enjoyed the spotlight, Hudson preferred to stay in the background. He wasn't interested in being a rock star. He was interested in making great music. This humility is part of what makes Hudson such a unique figure in music history. He didn't crave attention or accolades. For him, the music was always the most important thing. Even after the band disbanded, Hudson continued to make music. He worked on solo projects, collaborated with other artists, and even scored films. Yet he remained largely out of the public eye, allowing his work to speak for itself. Today, Garth Hudson's contributions to music are widely recognized by those who know where to look. Many musicians credit Hudson as a major influence on their work. Artists ranging from Elton John to Mumford & Sons have cited the band as a key inspiration, and it's impossible to separate the band's sound from Hudson's contributions. But Hudson's legacy isn't just about his influence on other artists. It's about the way he approached music, with curiosity, creativity, and a refusal to follow the trends. In a world where fame often overshadows talent, Hudson's story reminds us of the power of staying true to your art. Garth Hudson's influence extends far beyond the 1960s and 1970s. His innovative approach to music inspired countless musicians in various genres, particularly keyboardists and organ players. Artists such as Bruce Springsteen, who admired Hudson's ability to bring both technical skill and soul to the stage, have often cited him as a major influence. Hudson's groundbreaking use of organ and synthesizers in rock music paved the way for many musicians to experiment with their sounds, making electronic instruments an integral part of rock and pop music. In fact, many of today's top musicians, including modern rock bands and electronic artists, trace elements of their sound back to the foundations that Hudson built. Without his trailblazing work, we may not have witnessed the diverse sonic landscapes we now enjoy across various genres. In today's fast-paced music industry, where the spotlight is often given to celebrities rather than true artists, Garth Hudson remains a rare example of integrity and dedication to the art of music. Even as his peers became larger-than-life figures in popular culture, Hudson continued to live a quiet life, content with being part of something much bigger than himself. His refusal to conform to the pressures of fame is something that many artists today could learn from. His story is a powerful reminder that being an artist doesn't require constant attention or validation. It requires a commitment to creating music that moves people, touches lives, and stands the test of time. Garth Hudson may not be a household name to everyone, but for those who understand the depth of his contributions, he remains an undisputed legend whose legacy will continue to influence the world of music for generations to come. What sets Garth Hudson apart from many of his contemporaries is not just his role in the band or his innovations in rock music, but his unmatched versatility as a musician. Hudson seamlessly moved between genres: rock, classical, jazz, blues, and even film scoring, demonstrating an incredible ability to adapt to any musical setting. Whether he was contributing to the soulful, roots-driven music of the band or creating intricate arrangements for soundtracks, Hudson always brought his unique touch to every project. This versatility meant that he wasn't confined to one style or sound. He was a true musical chameleon who could mold his talents to suit a wide range of creative endeavors. His ability to draw from such diverse influences made him one of the most well-rounded musicians of his time, and it continues to make his work timeless and relevant to new generations of listeners and musicians alike. Garth Hudson may not be a household name, but his story is one that deserves to be told. He was a quiet genius who changed the course of music history, not by seeking fame, but by staying true to his craft. As we remember Garth Hudson today, it's worth asking ourselves, what does it mean to leave a legacy? Is it about recognition, or is it about creating something that lasts? Hudson's life and career challenge us to think differently about success. He reminds us that sometimes the most important contributions come from those who work quietly, behind the scenes. What do you think is Garth Hudson's greatest contribution to music? Is there a particular song or moment that stands out to you? Let us know in the comments below. Hudson's story is a reminder that music isn't just about the people we see on stage. It's about the passion, creativity, and dedication that happen behind the scenes.